really proud of our team. Obviously not our best performance, but to go on the road, to have the mistakes, make the mistakes that we made continually, especially defensively and on special teams, and to find a way to gut it out at the end. Just extremely proud. We know we got a lot of work to do, and we need to do it. We need to start with tackling on defense. We need to obviously play better on special teams. We can't give up an easy, slow rolling kickoff and then the block punt. One of our guys got beat, one of our best players, and but we gift wrapped it up 3 touchdowns, 2 with our special teams mishaps and a pick that went down to the 5-yard line. So as poorly as we tackled on defense, we certainly didn't do them any favors on the other 2 phases of the game. But again, we won, and really, really proud. Winning on the road is difficult, and especially when you continue to be your own worst enemy. But the good thing is we found a way, down 15 with 3 minutes and some change left to tie the thing up, win it in overtime, and we made big plays when we needed to. Bijan Robinson's the only injury news of note. He's got a strain in his back that we'll evaluate more tomorrow. Questions?
Armor, go ahead.
Coach, I'm trying to feel like how you wrap your mind around everything, because you guys didn't really play that well. Hold on, let me take this off. You guys didn't really play that well for most of the game, but you did get the win. So I'm just trying to figure out, how do you wrap your heads and how do you assess this, where you did win, but there was a lot of struggles?
Well, you point out the things you did well, and you go back to work on the things you didn't do well. Obviously, the tackling on defense, I felt like it was last year. I did. And, with no spring ball, very limited contact in fall camp, I think and then, playing UTEP in our opener, I think the speed of the game, got to our guys a little bit. I really do. And but that was good. It was, all of these are really good teaching moments. And, we're going to celebrate the things we did well and go back to work on the things we didn't. And, I think, the special team thing, that's a pretty easy fix. Actually, 3, right, on special teams. We had the drop punt for a touchdown, block kick, block punt for, I think, basically a touchdown, and then the slow roller onside kick. So, those are all relatively easy fixes, and so, we're certainly not pleased with how we won, but we are pleased with the result.
Ryan, go ahead.
Every team that does anything of consequence has to have a moment like this where it all comes together. And could this be it for y'all?
Yeah, I think so. I think, we had a couple players say the same thing in the locker room, Brian, that, great teams have a game or 2 like this. We saw the 2 teams that played in our conference championship last year had some real nail biters. I think Baylor had a couple overtime wins, stuff, things like that. So, they all count the same. But for us to find the intestinal fortitude to come out and not give up, not hang their head, down 15 with 3 minutes and some change left, find a way to win that thing. I think there's a lot of confidence that can come from that, but also a lot of humility. And that was the thing that I stressed, and that some of the leaders on the team, some of the kids stressed. Hopefully this humbles some guys in there that thought this was going to be easy, that every game was going to be like UTEP. And I think that point was made very clear here today.
Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Tom. So just your instructions, your words to the offense when you get back with 3 minutes and change, knowing things hadn't gone well in the second half up to that point, and then just the philosophy on the 2-point play to Brendan, the look that you got, is that exactly how you guys drew it up?
Well, our quarterback actually looked at me and he said, they left us too much time. He said, we're going to tie this thing up and win it in overtime. And I believed him. Shoot, if Sam Ellinger was trying to sell me oceanfront property in Arizona, I'd probably write him a check. He's usually right on, and he was right. And really proud of the offense and for being able to do that. Proud of our onside kick team to get the ball back. And then the 2-point play to Brennan, that's a play might look familiar to you guys, was run against us when West Virginia beat us in Austin a couple years back. So it's got a multi-faceted play, if you will, that I'm not going to tell you all the different options on it, but Brennan and Sam had a little signal on which route they wanted to run. They knew it was man coverage with no help, and they ran a slant, and the rest is history.
Kirk, you had a question?
Yeah, Tom, I wonder if you've had time to come up with any new adjectives to describe Sam. And I assume you didn't yell at him for throwing the interception, first one this year.
No, I never yell at a quarterback when they throw picks. Trust me, they don't want to throw one worse than you don't want them to throw one. I promise you. So, he knew he was forcing things, and he hit a funk there, in the third quarter that he just didn't look like himself for a few drives, and had me worried a little bit. But we talked about it on the sideline, and he bounced back and kind of got back to his old self. And yeah, Kirk, I can talk now, but I've got a pretty decent vocabulary, but I am running out of adjectives to describe him.
John, go ahead.
Is it me? Me?
John, hi.
Hey, Coach. Earlier this week, you talked about not expecting to see the same Texas Tech team that we saw play against Houston Baptist. Do you think that your guys really believe that going into this one?
Nope.
Steve, go ahead.
They didn't. No, that's all right, John. No. Did they believe it? Yes. Did they believe it to the degree that they needed to? No, they didn't. Again, I think when you have the training camp that we had, and your first game is against UTEP, I think a team with the athleticism, especially at the skill positions that Texas Tech has on offense and defense, I think that was an eye-opener, and we knew that they were going to be really, really good on offense. And, we felt like we could score on them if we could adjust to what we were seeing. Felt like we did early. They adjusted in the third quarter to some things that we hadn't anticipated. And then, we kind of found our footing again offensively there in the fourth quarter and overtime. But no, I did they believe it? Yeah, I'm selling them short. They did believe me, John. I really do think they did. But to the degree that was necessary, the answer is no.
Steve, go ahead.
Coach, first of all, Sam left the field about in the third quarter. You said he was feeling a little sluggish or something. Did he go in for an IV, or did he get something right there? Or and
He had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was one of the two. And the second of all, you got to be happy with the way you ran the ball, Coach, especially in the fourth quarter down the stretch. You started off that drive with the running the ball. You got to be happy.
I was. I'm never – I get really uptight anytime we get tackled for less than 4 yards. So sometimes I don't see the forest for the trees in the middle of the game. But to have our running backs, Keontae had 7.4 yards per carry. Sam with 19 yards lost on sacks, still had 4.3 yards a carry. Bijan with 3 yards a carry. Do I wish it were cleaner at times? Yes, but to to walk out of there with how many? Where are we at here? Rushes. Yeah, 214 yards rushing. That's a pretty good day, and we'll take it. But I just didn't like this. I felt like there was a little bit too much of that. I'd like to be a little bit more consistent.
We have 3 last questions in queue. Let's just keep it to 1 each. And go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Tom, you talked about not embracing what Texas Tech, you told them about Texas Tech, but how hard is it to get guys to believe down 15 with 3.5 minutes to go and 1 timeout that something like what you accomplished is possible? And on top of that, just what Sam Ellinger's demeanor mean to the rest of the team on the sideline?
No, I think, what does it take to believe down by 15 with 3 minutes and some change? I think a couple things. One, that our training is what it is, and we'll find a way because of how well we're trained, both from a football coaching standpoint and strength and conditioning standpoint, and who we got leading the team. Number 11. I don't think anybody on the team, as long as we got that guy and there's a few ticks left, I think everybody but on that sideline believes we have a shot to win the thing.
Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, Tom, I just wanted to just get your thoughts on the play of the offensive line. How do you think they fared today, both in the passing and just kind of your thoughts on how they played?
We got to get a stop and we got to recover.
Without watching the video, I would say just okay. We threw for whatever percentage and close to 300, 4 touchdowns. We rushed for 219 or 212, whatever it was. So the numbers are pretty good, but I think you're asking the question because you saw what I saw, which was some TFLs in the run game, obviously a couple sacks that you would like to have back. So just okay, too inconsistent for my taste, but we'll look at the film, find out why, and continue to get better. But again, this was a Big 12 team on the road that, their offense is always going to keep them in games. And so they know down 10 or whatever, I think that was the biggest lead we had was 10 or maybe 17 at one point. But they know they're not out because of that offense. And, they're going to keep coming and keep making plays. And we've got to do a better job up front. We know that. And I have full confidence that we will.
Last one. Go ahead, Chip.
Tom, you rotated a lot in the secondary throughout the game with BJ in, at safety, Anthony Cook, Jalen Green. How did you think the consistency held up with all that rotation? And BJ, I think, ended up as the leading tackler.
Anytime you have 325 yards and 5 touchdowns thrown on you, I would say that's not a good day at the office. But, it was 96 degrees out there, too. And, again, without a summer conditioning and a very truncated training camp, our guys, we needed to rotate for the health of our players, for the freshness of our players. So it's good to be able to. I remember there was a time last year where we were in a 2-minute drill against Kansas with walk-ons out there in the secondary. And, so we've got some very skilled players that can go in and play for us and be able to keep our starters fresh. But at the same time, all of those guys in the back end got to play better and got to tackle better.